6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. 6:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Here is the news edited by Lal Mallavarachi and read by J. Yogaraj. First, the headlines. The President assures that public servants would receive economic relief after the Thai Pongal celebration this month. United Nations to assist reforms, digitization and poverty eradication programs in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation marked its 57th anniversary today. Time frame to submit new electricity bill in Parliament and implement reforms finalized. Health Ministry declares a special dengue prevention week from Sunday. News overseas, Iran leader vows harsh response to deadly bombings that kill 84. In sports, 2 women national rugby players will create history in Sri Lanka as female match officials for the first time. And those are the headlines. President Ranil Wickremesinghe addressed crucial issues concerning missing persons and land releases and environmental conservation in the Jaffna district. During the Jaffna and Kilnochchi District Coordinating Committee meeting held yesterday, he emphasized the need for immediate attention and proactive measures to address these past or pressing matters. The President noted that the issue of resettling displaced persons cannot continue and that there should not be any displaced persons by 2025. He instructed the officials to devise a plan to resettle all those displaced. President Wickremesinghe acknowledged the economic hardships faced by the public and assured that the public servants would receive economic relief after Thai Pongal celebration this year. He emphasized that with the stabilization of the country's economy, economic relief measures are being extended to the entire population. Furthermore, he affirmed that all outstanding bills resulting from last year's economic reforms have been settled. He highlighted the completion of the necessary measures aimed at fortifying the economy throughout the upcoming 4 quarters. Additionally, the President disclosed plans to elevate the economic growth rate to 3% by the end of this year, with a targeted increase to 5% in 2025. United Nations Assistant Secretary General and the United Nations Development Programme Director for Asia and Pacific, Kanni Wignaraja, expressed appreciation over the reforms undertaken for socio-political development in Sri Lanka and assured continuous support under the UNDP program. When she called on Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena at the Temple Trees yesterday, she lauded the Prime Minister's role in ensuring empowerment of the downtrodden people of Sri Lanka. She called to discuss Sri Lanka's development programs related to policy reforms, digitization, public sector modernization, climate change, green economy, water and other related development issues. The Prime Minister briefed her on the steps taken for economic recovery and the programs for long-term infrastructure development. He explained that the steps taken to broaden the tax base and said the new tax policy of registering all citizens over 18 would boost digitization plans and it would help to eradicate corruption and waste and enhance transparency. She said the tender and the procurement system will also be digitized under e-procurement platform, which will come to effect in March this year for local procurements and in September for international biddings. This news comes to you from Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation marked its 57th anniversary today. On 16 December 1925, the then British Governor Sir Hugh Clifford inaugurated the broadcasting service in Sri Lanka. It was officially launched as Radio Ceylon in 1949. On 5th January 1967, it became a state corporation and was renamed Ceylon Broadcasting Corporation. Subsequently, it was renamed Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation after Ceylon became the Republic of Sri Lanka. Neville D. Jayavira was SLBC's first chairman and director general. Today, SLBC is the island nation's leading media organization and its Sinhala, Tamil and English broadcasts reach the entire island. Its Kotmale, Dambana radio and Uwa community radio stations serve the inhabitants of the remote areas of the island. To mark the 57th anniversary, an almsgiving will be offered to International Buddhist Center at Vijayaram Avenue in Colombo 7 today. The Dhamma sermons aired by Sinhala National Service today at 8 a.m. will focus attention to the SLBC's contribution for the communication of the Buddhism in Sri Lanka. Today, Subharati program will also discuss the services of SLBC rendered to the nation. Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara has discussed the amendments and proposals received from stakeholders and political parties for new electricity bill with the members of the officials of the Ceylon Electricity Board Reforms Committee and Reform Secretariat. Taking to X, formerly known as Twitter, Minister Wijesekara emphasized that it was decided to incorporate some of the amendments with the assistance of the Legal Draftsman's Office to correct the Sinhala version's inconsistencies and present to the Parliament for approval. The time frame for presenting the bill in Parliament and implementing the reforms was also discussed and finalized according to the Minister. The Health Ministry has decided to declare a special dengue prevention week starting from 7th to 13th of this month, where cleaning campaigns as well as dengue prevention and awareness campaigns will be carried out island-wide. Addressing the media, Dr. Sudat Samaraveera, the Director of the National Dengue Control Unit, said the decision has been taken in light of the considerable surge in dengue cases. The special prevention campaign will be conducted in 70 high-risk emerged areas where dengue breeding places have been found in abundance. The campaign will be carried out in collaboration with the personnel from the Triforces and police and health officials and voluntary organizations. The Director of National Dengue Control Unit invites people to render their fullest support in making this campaign a success. And that's local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
The challenges of facing the beedi industry in the country were addressed during a meeting that took place at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday. Extensive deliberations took place regarding the issues and irregularities arising in the importation of few materials for the beedi industry, according to the President's Media Division. Consequently, emphasis was placed on the need to revise the tax policy related to the importation of essential raw materials for the beedi industry. Additionally, measures to curb the illicit import of raw materials were highlighted during the discussion, and that came to you in top news.
The main news story was brought to you by Sinhala Mahatma.
This is Watchlight.
The Epidemiology Unit says the health authorities have decided to administer an additional vaccination dose against measles to infants aged between 6 to 9 months. Accordingly, an MMR supplementary immunization activity is scheduled to be held tomorrow at all immunization clinic centers in 9 high-risk health districts. The vaccination program will take place from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. in Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara, Gaul, Matara, Kandy, Jaffna, Kurunegala and Kalmune health districts. Media sources encourage parents to vaccinate their infants to prevent spread of measles, mumps and rubella.
Coming up, world news.
Iran leader vows a harsh response to deadly bombings that killed 84. A woman in her 80s pulled from the rubble in Japan 72 hours after the earthquake. French booze free January falls flat with Macron government. And those are the headlines. Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has vowed a harsh response to a bomb attack on crowds marking the anniversary of spy master Qasem Soleimani's assassination by the US. The attack in Kerman in southern Iran killed 84 people and wounded many others. The death toll was revised down on Thursday morning by the head of Iran's emergency services from an earlier figure of 95. The Islamic State group said it carried out the attack. A woman in her 80s has been pulled from the rubble of a collapsed house in Japan 72 hours after the New Year's Day earthquake. The state news agencies showed a video of the woman being lifted out of her home in the town of Wajima. Rescuers are racing against time in their search for survivors as the critical 3-day window has now shut. At least 82 people were killed when a 7.6 magnitude earthquake hit the remote Noto Peninsula on Monday. France President Emmanuel Macron has been accused of carving into the wine lobby by failing to lend his weight to an alcohol-free Dry January. 50 specialist on addiction wrote on open letter this week, lamenting the lack of government support for the post-festivity No Drinks campaign. Our confidence in the government to carry out a coherent and determined policy against alcoholism is seriously compromised, the doctors wrote. Dry January that came to France in 2020 had become a popular social fixture since it was introduced from the UK. And that's world news. Development news. Trade, Commerce and Food Security Minister Nalin Fernandez says that Sri Lanka Satosa aims to open 5 new mega stores and 10 regular Lanka Satosa stores in the first 3 months of this year. The minister said that by year-end, the plan is to expand the Lanka Satosa outlet network to 500 outlets with the primary goal of enabling consumers to purchase goods at government-subsidized prices without shortages. The goal is to increase the total income of Lanka Satosa to nearly 70 billion rupees this year. The company aims to secure a net profit of 500 million rupees amidst the economic challenges. And that came to you in Development News.
Moving on with sports news.
2 national rugby players, Charani Lienige and Ayesha Pereira, will create history in Sri Lanka rugby history when they officiate as female match officials and assistant referees for the first time at this week's Inter-Club League rugby tournament matches in Colombo. The former women's national skipper Ayesha will officiate at the CHNFC versus the Air Force SC game at the Racecourse grounds in Reed Avenue, while Charani will officiate at Valisara in the game between Navy SC and CRNFC. Both games will be worked off tomorrow.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
SLT Mobitel has announced an exciting new free nighttime internet for all home brand customers that will include unlimited free data access daily from midnight to 7 a.m. Recognizing the rising demand, SLT Mobitel is spearheading a transformative shift in the industry by providing free internet access during the night for the first time in Sri Lanka, representing a major milestone in the nation's telecommunication industry.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go එකක් තියන youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු වීන හැබැයි කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Moving on to economic news, the government has exempted Ayurvedic products, medicines and industries related to indigenous medicine from value-added tax. The decision aims to make a traditional medicine more accessible to the public. The cabinet has also granted approval for the establishment of a special bureau dedicated to addressing issues affecting native doctors and ensuring the sustainability of the indigenous medicine system. And that came to you in economic news. Weather report. The Met Department says that several spells of showers will occur in the northern, north central and eastern provinces. Showers or thundershowers will occur at several places elsewhere after 2 p.m. today. Misty conditions can be expected at some places in the western, sub-Brahmo and central provinces during the morning hours too. And that was the weather report to wind up this news broadcast. Let's look at the main points once again. The President assures that public servants would receive economic relief after the Thai Pongal celebration this month. United Nations to assist reforms, digitization and poverty eradication programs in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation marked its 57th anniversary today. Time frame to submit new electricity bill in Parliament and implement reforms finalized. Health Ministry declares Special Dengue Prevention Week from Sunday. News overseas, Iran leader vows a harsh response to deadly bombings that killed 84. In sports, 2 women national rugby players will create history in Sri Lanka as female match officials for the first time. And with that, we conclude this morning news podcast of Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.